My name is Jorge Carrion, and this is my personal reflection video for session 3. In this presentation, I will be discussing my reflections on my relationship with self, God, and others. Although I turned 40 years old this year, I feel that I'm still discovering myself in a way. I think humans never stop learning new things and developing new ways to face different circumstances in life. Who we are reflects how we solve our conflicts and how we relate to the world. In their book, Looking Out, Looking In, Adler and Proctor stated that, and I quote, knowing who we are is essential because without a self-concept, it would be impossible to relate to the world, end of quote. There are many ways of identifying ourselves, but when we start with God, we begin to develop a relationship with Him. We discover our true identity, and consequently, we will have more meaningful relationships in life. According to the results on the extroversion-introversion test in session 1, I have an introvert personality, which wasn't a surprise to me. I'm definitely not the life of the party for sure, but I'm someone who is outgoing, whether among friends or other people. Overall, I can say that I enjoy my personality traits and that I have a good relationship with myself. However, sometimes I have perfectionistic tendencies that can be cause of anxiety, and it could have a negative impact on my relationships. Adler and Proctor stated that, and I quote, many people judge themselves against unreasonable standards and suffer accordingly. End of quote. Having a positive self-perception is crucial to me because it will influence my relationship with God. And this brings me to the next point. As a Christian, I've learned that I have a new identity in Christ. In the book of Genesis, the Bible tells us that God created humans in His own image. And I love the words of the Apostle Peter in 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 9 and 10, where he says, for you are a chosen people, you are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for He called you out of the darkness into His wonderful light. Once you had no identity as a people, now you are God's people. Once you received no mercy, now you have received God's mercy. These verses to me, or these verses tells me that I have a new identity in God. Now I'm part of His family, and He wants me to have a intimate relationship with Him through prayer, through Bible reading, and He also wants me to be in fellowship with other believers. And this brings me to my third and final point, which is my relationship with others. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned so far in this class is that people have different perspectives, and that perspectives influence behavior. And no wonder the Bible tells us not to pass judgment on others, because our judgments are usually based on people's behaviors rather than their perspective. Adler and Proctor explained that, and I quote, labeling people according to our first impression is an inevitable part of the perception process. End of quote. Therefore, I think it's vital to be open-minded and willing to change our perceptions. In other words, we must develop our perception checking skills in order to handle our interpretations better. In session 3, I've learned about making friends, the different types of friendships, how to keep them, and what to do in case they fail. I've also learned about the four qualities that keep friendships going, which are loyalty, forgiveness, honesty, and dedication. However, in my opinion, the supreme quality of friendship is love. Um, Love is the greatest. Love includes all of the above and more. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7, and I quote, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. End of quote. Jesus encourages us to love each other as he also loved us in John chapter 15, verse 12. I don't have many true friends, and I'm not a person that opens up easily to others. But through this class, I have learned valuable skills that will help me to develop my current relationships and maybe start new ones. Now that I'm reflecting on what I've learned about myself and my relationship with God and others, um, I've come to realize that the most critical question is not who I am, but who God created me to be. And as I discover the answer to this vital question, I think I will begin to improve my self perception. I will deepen my relationship with God, and I will also strengthen my relationship with others.